time has come to make a decision. Are we in this thing alone, or are we in it together?
What a banger. Holy fucking shit. Anyone else like Together by DJ Falcon and Thomas Bangalter, one half of the music duo Daft Punk. Yo, what's up, Cha-Cha? What's up, CS? CSF? What's up, MBT? Yo, Kev, what's good? Julio and Neil Blade, a Chaos. What's up, guys? How we doing on this fine evening? Everybody chilling? Hanging out? What's going on tonight, okay? Is there anything actually interesting happening? Yo, Polish Bussy, what's good? Is that true? Do you have a Polish Bussy? What's going on? I don't really know what to do tonight. I'm just gonna, if y'all were watching Destiny before, I was just hanging out there, being boring, and then I don't know. Is there stuff to cover today? Let's see what's going on the YouTubes. I know there was a continuous subreddit drama that kind of began the drama because I was there for Hollyfall. I keep seeing people make posts about it. I don't know if y'all saw the Legal Ego video. That shit was kind of heat. Saw people posting that and being mad about it and calling Hobbitfaller a cuck. With being called a cuck on every on a bunch of posts he's like responding based. But yeah, I don't know what else is going on in DG land or otherwise, you know? I mean, there's the fucking Russia shit. But fucking 20-point peace plan that's made by Russia, but I don't even know. It's even... What is there? Oh shit, Neil Blade. I'm actually sick right now, so I'll mostly be lurking, plus we'll probably fall asleep soon. Well, yeah, that's good, Neil Blade. Except the lurkers. Nothing wrong with lurkers. But appreciate you watching, even if you're sick. QLQ Mazippa. Yo, what's up? Mazippa. Fudge. What's good in the hood? How you been? What does QLQ stand for? QLQ. Yeah, is it like a quality of life questionnaire? I don't think that's what it is. Is it queer loving queer? What do you mean by that, Fudge? Exactly. Does that mean? Okay, okay. Oh shit, sure. I always forget. Because you said that before. Wait, yeah, you said that before, and I was like, oh, duh. And then here we go again. It's literally looping. Literally looping right now. So I know you said that before. That's fucking hilarious. Felt the Yi vs Pepe Olympic form on stream. Oh shit, true. True. Let me find it. Hold on. I kind of already filled out part of it, but I didn't finish it. So let's see. What do we have? Jesus. Okay. DG Yi vs Pepe Olympics application form. Participants must be able to meet the following requirements. You all should fill this out, by the way. Speak in Discord with other contestants and organizers. Doesn't apply to Minecraft. Stream your own gameplay in 1080p or higher through Discord. Doesn't apply to Minecraft. 10 scheduled meetings beforehand. Doesn't apply to Minecraft. A minimum 3-month-old DG account. Active in DG in the previous month. Agree to the DG vs Pepe Olympics Code of Conduct. Where is the Code of Conduct? This will be better for talent, punctuality, and possible DG anti-fan / troll behavior. Don't be an anti-fan or troll, guys. If any videos of yourself doing something talented in game or of your cat / dog to be shown during the event at Turtle Dreams in DGG chat. Yo-ho. Okay. Required questions. Pepe or Yi? Pepe obviously wins. Yidophiles, get the fuck out. Okay. Get all the way the fuck out, Yidophiles. DG name, Zipzip45, Discord Zipzip45, region NA. Like help with production, let us know. I was already asked to be a caster announcer, so I assume I'm already the thing, but put that on, you know. Caster announcer. Just any all of the following games you would like to apply for below. Minecraft. So it seems it's just a server thing. Be fun content. I don't even know what it exactly entails, but it seems like it's just a fucking server that people are gonna be like making bases on or some shit. No idea. Or maybe it's just who like kills the Ender Dragon first. Who the fuck knows? GeoGuessr. I could do GeoGuessr. I don't know. I don't know if I want to be playing games. You know, depends how many people are being involved in all these. You know. CS2. I have played CS2, but I'm not very good at FPS in general. Kind of, or at least not like this. Like I'm good at hero shooters maybe, but I'm also not that good in general at FPS. Like hero shooters is better because you don't have to rely on aim as much. I'm just not very good. Chess, I'm not very good at chess at all. DGware, could do GGware. It's a fun game. StarCraft 2, never played StarCraft in my life. Celeste, I've never played Celeste either. Or actually, I did play Celeste, but I didn't get that far before I dropped it. I think I got that one. I think it was when I was pirating games a few years ago. Neil Blade of Chaos said in chat, play Celeste peak gaming stream. Does that be a good game for stream? Without spoiling too much, Ys and Pepes will be separated to prepare, and on the final day there will be a battle Abathur. Oh. So it's just going to be prep on the server. Oh, so like it's going to be a server, people are together, and then a massive army battle. That kind of would be fun. Sheesh. It's going to be a PvP god, kind of. Or not even, because you can support in other ways, technically. Finished it, but I got 7,000 deaths. Jesus Christ. Is that like a lot for that game, or is that not that much? Jesus. What does that mean? No, I don't. Clay Selection. Rocket League. I don't think I played Rocket League ever. League of Legends. I could do League, but I also quit League, so I don't know if I want to relapse for this. You know what I mean? Like, is that worth relapsing for? I mean, if it's worth relapsing on League for anything, it would be the DG versus Pepe Olympics. But do I want to relapse on League? I quit. I've been clean for so long. Oh, this is a good tweet. Friend sent me this by coincidence right now. Show this tweet. Breaking. If y'all didn't see, Trump earlier today said that they're gonna start like looking at immigration and barring green card people and turning away fucking people from third world countries, I think is what the quote. But didn't expand on what countries those are, what it means. But I guess this is breaking news, guys. Breaking news. Or no, this was last night. It's not breaking. Maybe I'm just not up to date. But apparently these are the countries. 19 countries are concerned that they're going to start reevaluating. Big list. Jesus Christ. Not good. Not great. Neil Blade says, such J, of course I usually place the list on stream when we're listening in on something. Just for visuals. Lol. Wait, what do you mean? I don't understand. No more chads? Yeah, no more chads. No more people from Chad. Unfortunate. Should I put League? I will not put League of Legends. I will not relapse on League. Additional questionnaire for Minecraft. Please answer the following. Minecraft username. Seems it. Revive. I think that's my Minecraft username. Questionnaire for chess. Oh, I didn't do chess. Did not do CS2. Did not pick StarCraft. Did not do Rocket League. Should I do League? I think my peak rank in League is like fucking gold. I don't think I ever did fucking rank that much. Still can't believe Marvel Rivals didn't fucking get on. Unbelievable. Unbelievable there's no Marvel Rivals. How could they? How could they leave out Marvel Rivals? Like, at least Overwatch. Jesus. What have you been doing here? Okay, submit. Boop, boop, boop. You guys should all go fill it out. Time Guesser? Oh, true. Time Guesser would be good. Just finished my first round of Dispatch. I highly recommend the game. I've heard good things about Dispatch. Um, seems fun, but is it just like is it just a story game? All I've seen is like, whatever choice. Oh, did you choose between this? Oh, you made the wrong choice, and that's it. Um, still fun though, probably. It's an adventure, yet it's not action at all. Gotcha. What do we got on the YouTube? Anything good? I got to react to. DJ Pikachu's full set. Hold on. What's DJ Pikachu got for us? Ultra masculine white girl playlist while you're on your way to testicular torsion surgery with Dr. House as the thumbnail. That's pretty good. Okay. Love to see it. Tim Miller vs 20 Gen Z conservatives. I did see this. Could watch this. It's 2 hours though. It's kind of a lot. You know? I'll open that one for if we need it. I do want to watch this Leo video. If y'all didn't see it, in case y'all didn't see it, it's so good and it's short. It's a good one. Oh, I love this mashup. Bro, Mario knows just from fucking playing a few. Why is Pokemon on here even? Just from because I usually will play French house tracks. Recommended fucking knows me. I love this mashup. Maybe I'll play it later.
Like a frog.
Let's watch this Legal video. I thought it was really worth watching. I liked it when I saw it. You can say it doesn't seem fun. No, I like story games. What? Story games are fun. Dialogue is fun though. I thought about going on stream and playing with chat, but my buddy said fuck you and I fell asleep. Damn, that sucks, yes. I would watch that. Although, I feel like that game is one, like, I get what, like, people, I'm sure people like watching any game. I feel like that's the game you would, like, of any game that you would want to play yourself, you know? You know what I mean?
Boiling in its own water.
Let's watch the Legal Eagle video.
Like a frog boiling in its own water, America is slipping towards authoritarianism, and it may already be too late. If you've ever wondered, how could X country just let that happen? Well, congratulations. You're living in the answer. This isn't a could happen, it's happening. And contrary to popular belief, authoritarianism doesn't always arrive via dramatic military coup. Democracies can, and often do, slide into authoritarianism slowly, quietly, and procedurally. There are 3 obvious pillars of a slide towards authoritarianism: consolidation of force and suppression of dissent, undermining the rule of law and electoral guardrails, and patronages, purges, and the destruction of independent institutions. And in just the last few months, what have we seen? Tens of thousands of career civil servants purged from the government. Masked, unaccountable federal police deployed, answering only to Trump. An immigration crackdown escalating into effectively internment camps, torture sites, and secret renditions to war zones, ensnaring citizens and non-citizens alike. Thanks, Justice Kavanaugh. Political prosecutions of rivals, dissidents, and members of the opposition party. The destruction of the rule of law through mass pardons of his team and the shutting down of investigations into his allies. For example, the January 6th insurrectionists, corrupt Republican politicians, donors, and business associates. The invasion of blue cities and states by the National Guard and Marines under the excuse of a manufactured peacetime emergency. Systematic demonization and othering of targeted groups. Immigrants and trans people blamed for every single societal problem. Ignoring court orders. Ignoring Congress by spending money that was never appropriated and refusing to spend money that was. Publicly flirting with an unconstitutional 3rd term as president, like a coquettish little tyrant in waiting. What a scamp. Attacking, suing, and banning media outlets that dare to criticize him. And enriching himself to the tune of billions of dollars through his crypto empire, self-dealing with his own businesses, and selling access to the White House. This is the authoritarian trifecta: consolidating state power, undermining the rule of law, and unrestrained corruption. And we're not even a year into a 4-year term. If you saw this happening anywhere else in the world, you would call it the opening phase of a failed state. Political scientist Juan Linz identified 4 defining features of authoritarianism: limited political pluralism, constraints on legislatures, parties, and interest groups, legitimacy built on emotion, the leader as a necessary evil fighting societal decay, minimal political mobilization paired with the suppression of anti-regime activity, and vague
Look at my fucking country, dog. Look at my fucking country, man.
expanding executive powers, undefined and shifting at will. And that describes America in 2025 with uncomfortable precision. Now, we recently released a video compiling all the crimes and corruption that Trump has committed so far.
Oh shit, maybe you should watch
Because,
that too.
frankly,
I
there's
watched a
been
bit of
so
it.
much that even we,
He just fucking put every single fucking thing since the start. I think it's like a 40-minute long video. or something.
professional lawyers, we're starting to lose track. And
Yep,
I'm
40
sure we
minutes.
still
Oh,
miss
shit.
some. We
Wait a minute, I actually remember. It was 40 minutes. 40 minutes of just, hey, this law, this law, this law, did this.
made that video because normal
Jesus.
people, even extremely intelligent ones, have a hard time grasping the full scope unless they are immersed in it every
Fuck me. How long was I muted for? Fuck me. Shut the fuck up, MVD7. I was muted. Wait, what did you guys hear? What did I say? Fuck. I was gonna say, I feel like if he's if he's still alive for a third term, I feel like he would still run, even if he's like way too old, 'cause he's already way too old. So, why not? Radiant, why the fuck are you DMing me? Why did Radiant just fucking DM me? What do you provide that Asian Bunny X doesn't? I don't know who that is. Good for you though. I'm glad you enjoy watching Asian Bunny X, Radiant. Thank you. What a classic from Radiant right there. You're signed up before my comment. I see. Radiant Y, an ad-free experience. Oh, true. You don't get ads because I'm not Twitch. So there you go. Or well, you can watch me on Twitch, but if you watch me on Twitch, you can use your Prime sub, and then you won't get ads. Think about that. Consider it. It's crazy how Trump has a career-ending scandal every single day, but not even Liberal media gives a fuck. They call Boris Johnson the most scandalous UK Prime Minister of all time. To this day, they talk about that COVID party. Yeah. The media just doesn't care enough to fucking do it. I mean, like, dog, it's bad how media fucking just treats this guy. Like, it's just, oh, it's just funny. Oh, look at Trump. He said quiet piggy to a journalist. We're not gonna say anything about that. Like, dude, Jesus Christ. Like, what are we doing? He called Tim Walz a retarded governor yesterday. He fucking, like, Jesus did. Like, it's bad. It's real bad. Christ.
every single
Keep
day.
watching.
I was at a wedding recently talking to a friend who is an incredibly intelligent, high-powered attorney. We were making conversation about what was going on in the world, and he asked why I was so worried about this
Also true, CSI, I offer chill vibes. You're right.
country. And when I rattled off a partial
chill guy.
list like the one you just heard, he was aghast. Because unless you're watching the news for several hours a day, it's just impossible to keep track. It's the Mr. Burns defense. Your average American might get some of these headlines, but I guarantee that the median American voter is not privy to half of this stuff. And the information economy is in shambles. Trump has spent the last 8 years preemptively accusing everyone else of corruption so that when he does the very thing that he projected onto others, it lands softly. Oh, this is just politics as usual, or, well, both sides are bad, so what? But this is not politics as usual. This is the playbook of authoritarianism. And
It's not fucking normal.
perhaps the most galling part is how little pushback there's been, even among people who are
America actually cared, you would have 20 coups by this time. I don't necessarily agree, but I get what you mean, obviously. Yeah.
Are paying
It's not that
attention.
simple, though.
You might remember 2015. Remember the right-wing conspiracy theory that President Obama was going to invade red states, Jade Helm 15? Well, that fever dream has essentially come true, except it wasn't Obama, it's actively Trump, and it's going on right now. And all those Second Amendment tyranny resistors are suddenly mysteriously silent. Even worse, Trump and his surrogates now whine that simply calling their behavior authoritarianism itself is an incitement to violence, thus justifying further crackdowns. This is the logic of a wife beater. This is gaslighting on a national scale. And early in Trump's second term, we were asking, is this a constitutional crisis? Well, yeah, it was. But the constitutional crisis is
Yep.
over. We lost. Trial courts have fought valiantly, but the Supreme
It's
Court has
over,
repeatedly
bro.
abdicated its role and handed over unprecedented power to the
Trump can do whatever the fuck he wants. We've lost, bro. We did it, guys.
president,
Like, Jesus.
not any president.
Trump's a wife barrier, not just a wife beater, though. True. He also fucking buried his fucking ex-wife in a fucking on a golf course, unmarked. Like,
And
Jesus
certainly not a Democratic
Christ.
president, but to one president, Donald Trump. The Supreme Court will not save us. And for reasons that I cannot fathom, they seem to welcome the turn towards authoritarianism. Now, I recognize that it hasn't been seamless. There has been plenty of buffoonery. Trump exists in such a dense bubble of misinformation
buffoonery
that I
is one
think
way
he
to put
truly
it.
believes everyone else
He can call it buffoonery. I will call it retardation.
is as corrupt as he is. And that delusion has led him to empower some of the most incompetent loyalists alive, Lindsey Halligan, Alina Habba, and Emil Bove, who have bungled his revenge fantasies. And some of their ham-fisted schemes have exploded in their faces, and certain institutions, especially lower courts and juries, have pushed back. But the terrifying part is this. Their corrupt plans might have worked if they weren't so dumb. And eventually, a more competent authoritarian
Obama had like 100 assassination attempts on him. He's clearly the more controversial president. So true, actually. So true. It's also that, the fucking Republicans are crazier people, might have something to do with it. Maybe.
will step in and finish what they started. As Professor Nicholas Grossman put it, in normal democracy terms, we're in bad shape and things are getting worse. In consolidated authoritarianism terms, we're doing pretty well as the regime is haphazard, meeting resistance and growing increasingly unpopular. And I think he's absolutely right, but I'm not confident that that will still be true 3 years from now. And look, I don't think we're beyond salvation yet. We do still have a choice. But 3 years from now, a whole lot of these bastards are going to need to go to jail. There will be enormous political pressure to just move on and pretend like this never happened, arguably like President Biden did after 2021. But authoritarianism is like cancer. Ignore it and it spreads. Pretend it's gone and it comes back worse. And President Trump is a malignant tumor on this nation. Look, we no longer have a Republican Party and a Democratic Party. We have a democracy party and an authoritarian party. And unfortunately, electorally, there's not a lot we can do right now. But we
Yeah.
still do have a choice. So keep pushing back. Keep protesting, keep
You need to get
recording,
locked
and
up.
keep talking. Yes, maybe it's time to bring politics back to the dinner table. A lot of people simply don't know the scope of what's happening
You all better
because
have.
it's bad.
You'll better have
But I believe
talked to your family about politics on Thanksgiving. Better.
there is still time. But just.
Wow. Let's watch this.
It's hard to keep track of all
bit
of
of-
President Trump's
yeah, we haven't watched the whole
criminality,
thing, but-
illegality, and corruption. Donald Trump took office for the second time, already an adjudicated felon, fraudster, and sexual assaulter. But this video isn't about those crimes and offenses. This is only about what has happened so far in the last year. Because, I'll be honest, there's so much of it that it's hard to remember. And I guarantee that you've already forgotten half of it. So buckle up, because there's going to be a lot. And programming note, because of some questionable acts by the Supreme Court, or something was illegal or constitutional at the time Trump did it, we included it in the list. We start with January 17th, 2025, because the corruption of his second term started just before he took office. On the eve of his presidency, instead of divesting himself of his conflict of interest-ridden businesses, Trump launched World Liberty Financial and a bunch of valueless meme coins. This allowed him to take bribes, engage in secret deals, and further enrich himself, all outside of many of the ordinary financial regulations. In Trump's first term, lobbyists, foreign governments, and Republican organizations curried favor with Trump by spending money at his Washington, D.C. hotel. But this time around, it's likely many individuals skipped the middleman and put money directly in Trump's pocket by buying the assets of World Liberty Financial and its various crypto offerings. Reports are that using World Liberty Financial, Trump has enriched himself by as much as $5 billion while in office. And it gets worse. We'll come back to that later. Then we get to January 20th. On Trump's first day in office, a flurry of executive orders. Now, I'll remind you, executive orders are not law, but they can direct federal agencies to do or not do things where the executive has discretion. In some cases, the president had the power, so to speak, but the acts were illegal or corrupt. In others, the president had no such power at all. So starting things out on January 20th, Trump purported to eliminate birthright citizenship via executive order. This was a profound constitutional violation, particularly of the 14th Amendment and due process. Trump shut down asylum requests at the border, claiming that it was an invasion. This violated the INA and several other immigration-related
You can't do that. You can't just shut down asylum. It's not how it
statutes,
works.
as well as the take care clause and separation of powers, since Congress had already created laws on this topic. Trump purported
Asylum is like it's an international law and it's part of the fucking like U.S. law that you have to accept people like refugees, like people claiming that persecution. It's just one of the things you have to do.
violated the INA and several other immigration-related statutes, as well as the take care clause and separation of powers, since Congress had already created laws on this topic. Trump purported to rename the Gulf of Mexico. Mexico sued, claiming that he didn't have the power to rename an entire body of water, just a part in U.S. territory.
Oh shit! Radiant with the breaking news. New fake news response just dropped. What's the fake news response? What do we got here, Radiant? Oh shit, VZ7 also said, when people write in France with retirement age, they're not met with armed counter-protesters police. True. True. That is true. French love to protest and it actually works for them. That's true. Should try that more. Okay, what is this? U.S. Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth has made a post responding to today's exclusive from the Washington Post, which claimed that he gave an order to, quote, kill everybody in September's first strike on a narco-terrorist vessel in the Southern Caribbean, in possible violation of the Geneva Conventions and the Hague Convention in 1907. While not officially denying the article, Hegseth called the report fake news, saying that it is fabricated, inflammatory, and derogatory reporting to discredit our incredible warriors fighting to protect the homeland, and that everyone killed has been affiliated with a designated terrorist organization. Source? Proof, bro? Evidence? You're gonna prove this at all, ever? A few minutes later, Hegseth on his personal account posted, "We have only just begun to kill narco-terrorists." Yep. This is some insane shit. These are like, they're again, just to repeat for everybody, for the people in the back, okay, who don't know. Pete Hegseth, okay, when he's like talking about this, he's like, oh yeah, narco-terrorists, they were all terrorists, they were all affiliated with a designated terrorist organization. Senators came out after the strikes were first like happening, and they said, we as senators, we're not informed about this. We as senators went like, and they had like talks with people from the administration. They're like, we were not shown evidence of who these people are, that they're associated with anybody, that they're associated with any gang activity, that they're anything. Okay, there's just been no demonstration that this is actually true, any of it. And yet he's gonna call it fake news. He's saying that these are lethal kinetic strikes, whatever, even though the reporting is that it failed the first time, and so he ordered to finish the job. Okay, the declared intent is to stop illegal drugs, destroy narco boats, and kill the narco terrorists who are poisoning the American people. Traffic we killed is affiliated with designated terrorist organization. Proof, bro. Proof at all, ever? Biden administration preferred the kid gloves approach, allowing millions of people, including dangerous cartels and unvetted Afghans, to flood our communities with drugs and violence. Okay, not true. First of all, also the unvetted Afghans. You're saying this because of the person from Afghanistan who killed the National Guard a couple of days ago, right? That person was vetted under Trump and was granted asylum. So deal with that, Pete Hegseth. Trump administration has sealed the border and gone on offense against narco-terrorists. Biden called a terrorist, we killed them. This is just not true, but okay. Current operations in the Caribbean are lawful under both U.S. and international law. Not true. With all actions in compliance with the law of armed conflict and approved by the best military and civilian lawyers up and down the chain of command. This is clearly not true because you can just ask lawyers who will tell you this is not in compliance because you can't just do this. You can't just do this. They're not. It's not how it works. You can't just shoot people in the middle of the ocean without congressional approval. Not how it works. The fuck? What the fuck? Where is lawyers now, lib? True. Sure was, of course, highly vetted. Oh, well. At this point, I'm almost inclined to believe Barron got bullied by some Venezuelan gold farmers in some online game, or one fucked Melania, because this shit makes no sense. Fudge, it's literally just that there's... It's just, like, they genuinely believe that all Venezuelans are just fucking terrorist Nicaragua members, and Trump let in, or Biden let in fucking 50 million of them, and that's it. That's it. That's all it is. They genuinely believe that shit, and it's disgusting. It really is. It's, it's sad. I'm Venezuelan American. It's pretty fucking disgusting to see how people like me are fucking being treated. Yeah, it's pretty upsetting. But what are you gonna do? It's just fucking life right now, I guess. Just fucking, yeah, cool. We're just killing randoms. Just kill the randoms. Who cares? Who even gives a fuck, man? Venezuela bad because communism. You're so right, Polish pussy. Venezuela is bad because communism. Like, Venezuela's shit, right? Right? Like, I have no love for the Venezuelan government, okay? Peru is a fucking dictator piece of shit, okay? But it has nothing to do with anything that's happening. Like, genuinely. Like, from leaks, apparently it's just the fucking, Marco Rubio has like a fucking boner for being the one to save Venezuela or whatever the fuck, which is like, and I'd said this for years, like the only way to like fix fucking whatever's going on in Venezuela is to like, for like the U.S. to actually like intervene. I didn't necessarily mean like physically like invade, like an actual like U.S. intervention would be like the way to do it. But under the Trump administration, they will fuck it up so hard. Like, there's absolutely no chance, whatever the fuck they do, there's no chance that it will go well. Like 0%. Like, Jesus. Apologize. In reality, what percent of Venezuelans are even coming to America? At least in my neck of the woods, they're quite uncommon. I've never seen an American Venezuelan gang. I couldn't tell you, Fudge, because I'm gonna be way biased. Like, for like, it is true there are a lot of Venezuelans coming to the U.S. Because under the Biden administration, there was people were granted temporary protected status under law. That is a thing that you can do. A lot of people applied for temporary protected status. A lot of people applied for asylum. Under Biden administration, because conditions got like so shit after COVID, and people went. But like, that doesn't mean that they're all gang members. They're all like fucking, like, dude, there's regular people like fucking going, like shit. I don't know what the highest percent of immigrants are from. Well, it'll depend over time. We can look at numbers. How many Venezuelans have come to the U.S.? So, of late 2023, approximately 770,000 Venezuelans reside in the United States. There you go. But also, like, the U.S. is not the only country with Venezuelan like immigrants. Like it says here, while the majority of the 7.9 million Venezuelan migrants globally remain in Latin America, the Caribbean, United States has become significant. So, like, let's round up to a million, right? That's like, in the grand scheme of all, because like, Venezuela's shit, so people are leaving fucking Venezuela like crazy. And yeah, Radiant says, I went to Costco today. It was 90% Venezuelans. They all spoke Spanish. I was in Venezuelistan. That's cool, Radiant. That's cool. Pushpussy says they're mostly in Florida. Maybe true. But I've seen Venezuelans in other places besides Florida. Where you can't even afford a Costco membership. CS, it's okay. He got he did the little hacks to get like the Chase points, and he moved it to another country, and then he like used that to get the Costco membership. That's what he did. Peru has 1 million, Colombia 2 million, Spain 600k. Yeah, a lot. Yeah, the Venezuelans have gone to all like a bunch of countries. Those are like, yeah, Colombia will get a lot because obviously they're right on the border. Spain gets a lot because it's in Europe and you like can speak Spanish there. Peru, same. Latin America. Chile has a lot. Like fucking Argentina, I think, even has like, yeah. It's not that many, at least in totality. Yeah, exactly, Fudge. It's not crazy. Fake statistics, at least 50 million. You're so right, Radiant. You're so right. I renewed with my Costco bucks. So true. There you go, Radiant. Let's get with your Costco bucks, bro. Why not? I want to see some more about this. Let's see. Wait, why is it in Spanish? What? Oh. Haga click. Oh, click this to read it in Spanish. Okay. Total of 85% reside in Latin America and the Caribbean. Oh, there you go. Wait, approximately as of 2023, approximately 770,000 Venezuelan immigrants in the United States, accounting for slightly less than 2% of all 47.8 million immigrants in the country. Okay, so Venezuelan immigrants are less than 2%, which, granted, that is a high percentage, right? Considering that it includes like immigrants from every country across the world, right? But that's obviously just like how it is, right? When there's going to be shit conditions in the country, they're going to be leaving, and so people are going to go to the U.S. Like, you know, with like the percentage in back in like whenever the fuck was going to be a lot like a lot of Cubans was it going to be in like the fucking 80s 70s, right? Like, it's just how it's going to be when you have a country that's going through a crisis. People will leave and go someplace else, and of course that'll lead to xenophobia, which is what happened. Yeah. CS. But I remember when the spam emails went out, a ton of people got scammed thinking those emails were real. I felt so bad because people were using it for extra food. Was that a thing? Costco bucks? Was that a scam that happened? Costco bucks. Scam. I don't know. I can't find it. Bizarre. I know what you mean. Trump becoming popular after 2015 as because your speech felt awful. Yeah, of course. Why doesn't Trump want us to have delicious arepas since we call them my way when people said true? Like, what the fuck, bro? I just want some good arepas. Although, fuck buying arepas, okay? Just fucking make them yourself. Fuck buying arepas, because holy shit, bro. Go to the fucking mall. There's an arepa place. And a fucking regular ass arepa is like fucking $20. Like, fuck that, bro. Make that shit for $2 at home. What the shit? Disgusting. Wish we said 40 million Americans in the US is crazy though, Lamau. I don't know why they got AM outed, but that is pretty crazy. Wait. Well, but that's also because like part of the US used to be Mexico, right? So like it'll make sense. Also, it's on the border. CS, yeah, it was during COVID, I think. It was like extra rewards or something. It looked very similar to the Visa card reward barcodes. Damn. There you go. Guess that's a thing. Guess it was. Did not know that. Okay, keep reading some of this. Economic political instability has driven Venezuelans abroad since 2015. It's further accentuated by COVID-19 pandemic. As more Venezuelans left their country, prospect of economic opportunity, growing diaspora in the United States, and an increasing number try and reach the United States. Some immigrated from Venezuela directly, others arrived there for prior residence in other Latin American countries. Many U.S.-bound Venezuelan migrants took dangerous routes to reach the country, including transiting the treacherous Darien Gap and Central America. This is true. Many Venezuelans will do literally crossing the border, the Darien. And it's fucked. It's really fucking dangerous, but people think it's worth it because the conditions are so shit where they were before. CBP says encounters of Venezuelan migrants grew rapidly from 49,000 in 2021 to 188,000 next year, 266,000 in 2023. Encounters slowed over 2024, fell slightly at 261. Increased enforcement by Panama and Mexico authorities and new asylum restrictions by the Biden administration. Right, so the fucking bipartisan border bill. All right. Administration developed the stuff they did because that didn't go there. Administration developed a carrot and stick approach into combining legal temporary pathways and statuses for Venezuelans, restrictions on access to asylum for crossing the border irregularly. Correct. So they, under the Biden administration, you could get you could apply for temporary protected status as a Venezuelan because of the shit conditions in Venezuela. It was determined that these people deserve status and legal avenue to reside in the United States and work and everything. And then earlier this year, like the second Trump got into office, he was just like, oh, you know what we'll do? We'll just illegally remove that from you, even though you were already granted it, and there's no way, like, you can't just remove it. It's just not how it works. It was already granted, and yet, there we are. There we are. What are you gonna do? And then, gone back and forth in the courts. Now, what it is now is, well, if you have temporary protected status, you don't have it, but you can your work authorization is still usable, so you can still work, even though you're technically a deportable immigrant. I think it's fucked right now. Really fucked. CS says, someone who works in compliance with public funds, I would probably cry every day for 2 years having to clean up everything this admin has done and not done and fix. Yeah, this is gonna be shit to fucking fix everything. I don't even know what you're supposed to do. Like, it's cooked. It really is cooked. Jesus. I It makes me really upset, especially just because I am Venezuelan. Like, not to say too much, but like I have like a lot of family that is Venezuelan, obviously, and it's like fucked seeing how worried people get and like the actual serious fucking stress that it causes people like day to day. It's fucked. Reminder: 41% of Americans still approve of Trump. Yeah, don't remind me, Radiant. Jesus. What is this link? Oh, just the actual like polling thing. Yeah, I mean it's going down. You know, approval numbers were here, they're now here. Disapproval numbers also going up, and like the disapproval went up more than the approval, so it's a good sign. It's a good sign, but obviously it should be lower. There should be 0% support, but you know. So much money is just poof, gone too. I didn't even talk about that part too. Can't believe I was able to get my citizenship this year, not gonna lie. Oh shit, yes, you got your citizenship this year? Congrats. The fuck, that's awesome. I'm happy for you. So I was already naturalized, I just need an extra paper, but still. Oh, okay. But hey, congrats, dude. What the hell? It's fucking awesome. Do you say what country you're from, CS? It's fucking awesome. Sheesh. That's a massive W. Yeah, true fudge. Insane. Yeah, I have fuck, I don't want to say too much. Someone I know did it last year. So that they wouldn't have to do it this year. um because yeah, it was gonna be fucked, so that's awesome though. Don't make fun of me, Russia? Well, there's nothing wrong with that. Hey, you're American now, okay? You're an American. Also true, fudge. Suka bliet. There you go. Easy. BTT, my mom is turning on Trump for not being fascist enough. Dude. Dude. I mean, what do you even do at that point? Like your mom's cooked, bro. Like what the fuck do you do on GT7? I can't imagine. I genuinely can't imagine. Thank God I don't have I haven't seen mega people in my family, but not like that, Jesus, and not my parents. I'd lose it. She want forced labor camps or something. I think she probably wanted more people to be sent to a torture prison in El Salvador. I think it's my guess. Clueless. True. I've been American. I'm fat and speak Spanish and adopt pit bulls. I guess it's an American thing. True. Those are all American things. Those are all American things. Yes. Even if racists will tell you it's not, speaking Spanish is an American thing. It's true. Anything else interesting in here? Oh, well, there you go. Yeah, and admin designated. I just if I would have just kept reading, I would have fucking just add the actual numbers. Biden administration designated Venezuela for temporary protected status. Expanded eligibility in 2023. As of January 2025, 607,000 Venezuelans were estimated to be covered by TPS, together with Cuban, Haitians, and Nicaraguans. You could also participate in special humanitarian parole program, legal enter. More than 117,000 obtained parole under this program. And beginning mid 2024, if you cross the border, you are ineligible for asylum. True. So yeah, there you go. These are the numbers. That's how many are in there. And also, yeah, these 607,000 Venezuelans and also a fuck ton of Cubans, Haitians, and Nicaraguans all got their legal status removed by the Trump admin. So when they complain about illegal immigrants, don't ever forget they are creating illegal immigrants. They are making them. These people were legal, and Trump admin made them illegal. Maybe that's why it's like 50 million now, right? Maybe he's just taking away everybody's legal status. I mean, that's just what it is. Turn of Trump admin, Jan 2025. Oh, if I just, yeah, kept reading. Trump ended the CHNV program for new arrivals, allowing parolees to be deported, and canceled the TPS extension. As well as immigrants in the United States are particularly concentrated in Florida, mostly arrived since 2010, and have higher levels of education than immigrants overall. This is true, as long as they're highly educated people. Because for better or worse, they had free university in Venezuela because of their socialism shit. So, like, a lot of people will have, be like engineers and doctors and shit, and then come here. Zones are also less likely to be U.S. citizens, less likely to be proficient in English, typically earn lower incomes than immigrants. Also probably true. Damn. Rip. Oh, This seems true to me, but that Venezuelans will be centered in these places, but like Venezuelans are everywhere, bro. I mean, I don't know. Oh, MBT7 answered. At Fudge, she thinks the mass deportations are mass enough and that H1B workers are given loans to buy convenience stores. Jesus Christ, MBT, you are. How did you break out? You're fucking. Well, did your mom get fucking indoctrinated? Or you fucking. Did you skip the indoctrination? Jesus. CS says, hell yeah, I fucking love shopping at an Asian market, getting Vietnamese pho and Mexican tacos and fucking Thai ice cream all on the same day if you have money. Hell yeah. That's the US of A, baby. The melting pot. Radiant. If we can't denaturalize, how can we fix the problem that Joe created? So true, Radiant. Thank you. Geez, people said, yeah. I'd love to see Trump denaturalize 50 million Americans with media still talking about dementia Joe. I mean, that's what they'll do. They'll keep talking about Joe fucking Biden. No surprise there. Just how it goes. How it is. It's all Joe Biden. This chat needs more emojis. Where's Schizo, Autopen, Schizo? Got AI modded on that one, but yeah, I need to add more emotes. Send me emotes and I'll add them, maybe. But sub only. Fuck the pores. Need to give more stuff to subs because I don't really give y'all anything. She was always MVT said, but Gaia modded. She was always conservative but went full retard since 2015. Ah, I see. She was always conservative, but Trump broke her brain. Gotcha. CS says, guys, I have the urge. I found out my job okays not natural hair color. I have the urge to dye it. Oh shit, what colors do you want to dye your hair, CS? What colors do you got? Oh, yeah, this makes more sense to me. Yeah, it's gonna be a lot in Miami, but they're concentrated. They're Venezuela there. This makes more sense to me. It's a better map. Damn, just got fully particular data. I like it. Cool. Oh, I had this open. Do you want to watch more of this? It's just gonna make me mad if we watch this shit. I'm just gonna get pissed off. All the way the fuck off. Radiant says do it pink. Guess that's Radiant's vote is for pink. She says, I've been the whole rainbow, but I currently have blue and purple. I'm not gonna bleach my hair, so it'll go over my current brown. Bro, if I do pink, the red part of it will never leave Erie. Whole rainbow is wild. You'll be in the salon for 12 hours. Well, I don't know. Right? I don't think she's meant she has done it the full rainbow. I think she said I've been the whole rainbow, meaning like at different times she's had different colored dye hair. Leave. Cut your hair into a pixie cut and do a lot of piercings. A what cut? Polish pussy? Say that again? I do it myself. Oh, there you go. Does it herself because you chat like that. You can go to no salon. Fuck that. Okay, I can't watch this video. I'm gonna get pissed. Fuck it. We'll watch it a little
Separate
bit
from the
more.
executive orders on January 20th, Trump pardoned the January 6th insurrectionists who had been criminally convicted by juries. Now, this may technically have been legal since the president can pardon people, but as I explained at the time, it shouldn't be. And dozens of these people had prior convictions or pending charges for crimes like rape, sexual abuse of a minor, domestic violence, manslaughter, production of child sexual abuse material, and drug trafficking. The Trump administration continues to intervene on behalf of the January 6th defendants.
Apparently, my ears are too small to have the bar across my ear, so no extra piercing. Damn, rips, yes.
and of course pardoning these
Unlimited colorful hero sounds like a ton of work to maintain. That does sound like a ton of work to maintain. I could not do it. Also, I have very, very, very dark hair, and it probably wouldn't look that good on me. But it just sounds like a lot of work. Damn.
traitors not only undermines the rule of law with respect to election integrity, but sends a message that if you commit a crime but you're on the president's team, that you'll simply not be subject to the same rules and laws as everybody else. But back to the executive orders on January 20th, Trump terminated federal employee telework agreements contrary to union agreements. Trump unilaterally withdrew from the World Health Organization, which violated international law. Trump sent the military to seal the borders. This was a violation of Posse Comitatus, which bars military engagement in civilian law enforcement activities. Trump reinstated the so-called Schedule F without going through any notice and comment process, potentially firing federal employees without going through the usual merit system protection process, a violation of the APA and civil service
Yeah, this is the type of shit that just makes you want to fucking fed post.
protections.
Oh, Jesus.
Trump pulled security clearances from John Bolton and 50 other intelligence
It's a pain in the ass, very expensive. My pink dye container costs like $30 a bottle, small as fuck. Rainy, you dyed your hair pink? Why does that not surprise me? I'm kidding. Polish, if I remember correctly, Destiny said he had never been approached by so many times by strangers after he dyed his hair. Yeah, because like when he did it, he became the blue hair guy online, right? And he was doing red pill at the same time, so he was getting a lot of popularity at the time, and it worked out in his favor. But like, you know, he got recognized because if without the blue hair, he's just like random white guy number 1322, right?
officials. This was an unlawful First Amendment retaliation and a violation of the APA and other federal regulations regarding security clearances. Trump unilaterally froze hiring
Destiny should do the blue hair again.
in the government
Absolutely
without any
should.
congressional authorization. Trump appointed Ed Martin to be the interim U.S. Attorney for the District of Columbia. Martin was entirely unqualified for the role. His only qualification was that he had promoted Trump's baseless stolen election claims. Martin went on to fire more than 24 prosecutors who had worked on the January 6th prosecution or the criminal investigation of Donald Trump, which was plainly retaliatory. Trump unilaterally paused the TikTok ban that had been passed by Congress and signed into law. Last time I checked, the president doesn't get to decide which laws to implement and which not to. Trump declared a legally dubious emergency at the southern border so he and Stephen Miller could carry out the plans to deport people en masse. This exceeded his legal authority and set the stage for a host of other legal violations. Trump rolled back a variety of energy-related regulations with no process in violation of the APA. He also froze all congressional funding to alternative energy projects in violation of the Impoundments Clause. Trump suspended the entry of refugees
Impound
into the country
money,
in
that's
violation
like
of the
just a thing that you just explicitly cannot impound money. You cannot withhold federal funds
provisions of the Immigration and Nationality
that Congress has already appropriated for use. You cannot do
Act and
that.
associated regulations. Going back to his greatest
Jesus.
hits, Trump directed the construction of a border wall without congressional approval. This violated separation of powers and the spending clause. He terminated parole programs that had allowed immigrants to enter the country in special circumstances without congressional authorization or APA rulemaking. Trump
Some
reestablished the
bullshit.
federal death penalty via executive order. He also directed the reconsideration of President Biden's grant of clemency, which is not a thing that you can do. Stick with me because we're only about halfway through the first day of the presidency on January 20th. Continuing on that day, Trump issued a memo making it easier for him to fire senior non-political leaders at government agencies. This was an effort to prioritize loyalty and fealty in violation of civil service protections and probably the First Amendment. Trump declared an energy emergency to get around regulations and laws. He even encouraged agencies to potentially use the Defense Production Act to do this. Trump shut down wind energy projects with no administrative process. Trump froze hundreds of billions of dollars in foreign aid. This was a violation of the Impoundment Control Act, spending clause, and separation of powers. Trump directed construction of detention centers without congressional authorization. That was also a violation of the spending clause. And he unilaterally paused funding for immigration-related services and organizations, which violated those organizations' due process rights, separation of powers, and again, the Impoundment Control Act and spending clause. Trump issued an executive order that authorized a travel ban without specifying which countries would be banned. And of course, Trump created or repurposed Doge. Headed up by Elon Musk, who had reams of conflicts of interest, Doge worked to illegally fire federal workers in violation of civil service protections. Doge also illegally accessed sensitive personal data of millions of Americans, created unauthorized information systems, illegally
Just took a calming bath and now I'm pissed remembering all this. Yeah, my bad, CS. I'm getting there too. I'm mad right now. I'm
combined
getting
federal databases
more
and just
mad
generally created
as we
chaos.
go.
And at the end of the day, contrary to the public releases, saved the government and taxpayers virtually no money. Trump issued an executive order that strictly defined sex and gender. The executive order required federal workers to genuflect to that definition, possibly in violation of their First Amendment rights. He unilaterally changed
Also, I think if you're trans right now, you can't get a passport with not your birth sex on it, and you can't get that changed. It's fucked.
the rules around gender designation on passports, possible violation of the APA, and also
well, there you
potentially
go.
violating due
Thanks.
process rights, especially
Thanks,
for trans
legal
individuals.
evil.
The order also froze funding for a variety of entities that Trump claimed were promoting the vaguely defined gender ideology, which punished First Amendment protected speech and obviously was a usurpation of Congress's spending powers and an unlawful impoundment. Trump froze vaguely defined DEI-related contracts, another unlawful impoundment. He also liquidated federal DEI offices, yanked federal grants related to DEI, another unlawful impoundment, violation of the separation of powers, and First Amendment violation. Trump laid the groundwork to invoke the Alien Enemies Act
Not
against
legal.
cartels like Tren de Aragua, likely ultravirus because the act never contemplates the designation of non-state actors and criminal enterprises. Trump later used his designation to deny people basic due process rights and violate the processes of the Immigration and Nationality Act. Trump jawboned or encouraged in the way that the mafia encourages the end of DEI practices in private companies, again violating the First Amendment rights of private companies. And rounding out his first day in office, Trump granted clemency to 2 DC police officers who'd been convicted for unlawfully pursuing a black scooter rider, killing him, then trying to cover up the crime. Of course, Trump has pardoned
Violating laws based in masculine, cry harder. So true. Polish pussy. You're so right, actually.
power, so this one probably wasn't illegal per se, but it was still gross and negated a legitimate jury finding. That takes us to the second day in office, January 21st. On that day, Trump set aside a lawful verdict and issued a full pardon to Silk Road darknet marketplace creator Ross Ulbricht. He was the first of many high-level business people to be granted pardons or clemency by Trump, especially those who paid lip service to Trump or his candidacy. Trump would go on to pardon Binance CEO Changpeng Zhao, Nikola Corporation founder Trevor Milton, and BitMEX founders Arthur Hayes, Ben Dilo, and Sam Reed, among others, many of whom contributed directly to candidate Trump and or had conflicts of interest with Trump's businesses. The message was clear: if you were rich, well-connected, and corrupt enough, even
Bro, I work at a woke place. It's so fucking nice, no joke, like legit. Where you can cutthroat corporate and independent blue collar. That's nice. So yes, I'm happy for you. You're in California too, so that probably helps. Florida's fucked. Like you ah boy. It's way too many fucking MAGA people. And too many MAGA fucking Latinos. I wanna fucking do something whenever I see one of those fucks.
criminal conviction
Like Jesus. Absolutely no fucking survival instinct. It's unbelievable.
could be made to disappear. On January 23rd, Trump issued another 24 full pardons for individuals convicted of threatening or obstructing people who were trying to obtain or provide reproductive health services. This overturned lawful jury verdicts and undermined federal law. Like the pardons for the January 6 rioters and the murderous police officers, this undermined the rule of law and making it clear
I keep telling my young coworkers, don't fuck this up, guys. You don't know what it's like out there. You gotta warn them. Keep them on their toes, because Jesus.
that the only laws that matter are the ones that Trump agrees with. On January 23rd, Trump's people ham-fistedly declassified and published records related to the JFK assassination, which included social security numbers and other personally identifiable information of several people in violation of privacy laws. Also on January 23rd, Doge set up an illegal, unauthorized, possibly unsecured server to email all government employees en masse, which violated the E-Government Act and lots of government security regulations and policies. On
Prosecute Elon for this shit, that you can't just fucking steal government information and put on your own
January
fucking
24th,
shit.
Trump fired 17
Can't do
inspectors
that.
general, the people looking for corruption, likely in violation of laws that created their offices and theoretically a violation of separation of powers. On January 27th, Trump kicked trans troops out of the military. This likely violated the First Amendment due process and equal protection rights of those troops. It also likely violated the APA as arbitrary and capricious. On January 28th, Trump's Doge used the previously discussed illegal OPM server, giving them the eponymous fork in the road offer. Union sued, claiming the offer violated numerous laws, including civil service protection, separation of powers, and the Anti-Deficiency Act. On January 28th, Trump defunded research into gender-affirming care for minors. And while I disagree with the Supreme Court and think this is a due process and equal protection violation, it definitely was an illegal impoundment of congressional funds. On January 29th, Trump tried to keep teachers and schools from
Yeah. Like Supreme Court ruled on his side on that, even though he was impounding funds. That's not how it works.
discussing a
Like,
long list of ideas, concepts, and terms,
Jeez.
violating their First Amendment due process rights. He pulled federal funds from schools that didn't comply, violating the Spending Clause Impoundment Control Act and the First Amendment. On January 31st, Trump worked to systematically destroy collective bargaining agreements for federal employees. This violated statutory collective bargaining rights and exceeded legal authority and violated the APA. Now, 200 news outlets reported on the terrorist organization designation, but depending on the sources you follow, it's hard to tell if they were even talking about the same event. When you scroll down to see how the story is being covered by every outlet, the frames can have a subtle difference that make a huge impact. The bulk of the reporting from the center right, Cartel de las Solas, is not a real drug cartel, implying the legality concerns about the designation. In contrast, reporting from the right acknowledged that the designation
Wait, really? U.S. has a label Maduro retired cartel as a terror organization.
Cartel de las Solas
Yeah.
is not a real drug cartel, implying the legality concerns about the designation. In contrast, reporting from the right acknowledged that the designation was an
There's so
allegation
much
and
retarded
focused
shit
on what
around.
might come next, implying legal validity. And on the left, headlines commonly use the future tense.
Like the fuck, it's so stupid. If you guys don't know about the fucking like the reason that they're fucking shooting down the boats right now in the Caribbean is because their justification is that these are non-state associated fucking terrorist organizations, right? Like non-state actors, because like you can, as long as it's a terror organization, you can do it, right? It's not even really how it works, but like that's the way they're trying to fucking spin it, is that these are like a terror organization like ISIS or whatever, right? Like it's not the same thing, because if it's foreign nationals, you can't do it unless you're at war with that country. It's just not how it works. But they already like with the Alien Enemies Act, like the reason whenever they invoke that to try to deport people and used it to deport people to the fucking prison in El Salvador, it was by saying that Tren is associated with the Venezuelan government. That's why that was the justification for doing that. It's because Tren is associated with the Venezuelan government, therefore they can deport Venezuelan nationals, who like any Venezuelan nationals. That's what the Alien Enemies Act actually is you can just use it to get all citizens of that country and just do it like that. That's what was used in World War II against Japanese people, to keep them in internment camps. But now for the fucking like boats in the Caribbean, now they're non-state actors, which is in contradiction with their fucking Alien Enemies Act declaration. But who cares about being consistent? As long as either way they're breaking law, so they don't really give a fuck.
Implying that the designation hasn't happened yet, and thus legal questions remain open for.
CS says, look, I can't wait for the Nuremberg trials, but I don't want to go through and survive this stuff before the Nuremberg trials. Yeah. I mean, remember, to get to the Nuremberg trials, there had to be a Holocaust first. Like, I mean, it's not good. Like, it's gonna get worse. It's gonna get worse before it gets better. I mean, we just gotta live through it. We just gotta survive, You're already losing it by making sense of it. It's just based to blast communists. So true.
challenge. Now, this type of analysis is why Ground
Oh,
News has
this
been my favorite way to
communist.
stay up to date with the news since 2023. So I want to thank them for
Ground
sponsoring this video.
News.
They've been a longtime supporter of this channel and independent news media at large. Because Ground News is an app and
I
website
love
that helps me
Ground
see the full
News.
picture by pulling in news from thousands of sources worldwide. I can compare coverage, uncover political bias, reliability, and most importantly, who owns the sources reporting from the news that you're reading. And it's not just me. Ground News has even been recognized by the NOML Peace Center for its impact on media literacy. And there's probably someone at your holiday dinner table that you feel could benefit from seeing the news from different angles. So why not take advantage of Ground News Black Friday deal and get 50% off a gift subscription? One feature that someone in your life can definitely benefit from is the blind spot feature, which shows you stories that are underreported by either side of the political spectrum. And if you're only getting your news from one or two places, you might miss out on important stories like how Trump designated Egypt's former ruling party, the Muslim Brotherhood, as a terrorist organization. This was largely ignored on the left, or the story about Republicans' frustration with Pam Bondi and the Epstein files that was completely ignored on the
This body was made for like 80s America, not fucking 1920s Germany.
right.
Jesus,
But now,
sure.
as a legal eaglet, you can get 40% off the Unlimited Access Vantage plan, the same one that I use, by scanning in the QR code or clicking on the link below. Or take advantage of the Black Friday deal and get 50% off a gift subscription. And by subscribing, you're also supporting an independent news platform that's working to make the media landscape more transparent and balanced. So go sign up for Ground News today, or I'll see you in court. Now let's get back to February of this year. On February 1st, Trump issued his first executive orders on tariffs against Mexico, Canada, and China. These would be the first of many. He has continued to go back and forth on tariffs ever since. Trump's tariffs violated a number of international treaties, including the USMCA, which he himself negotiated, the newer version of NAFTA. It violated constitutional separation of powers, the APA, and also exceeded his legal
What was
authority.
it?
On February 5th, Trump
Actually,
issued an
what
executive
was it?
order excluding trans women from women's sports and pulling funding from schools that did not comply. On that same day, Pam Bondi was sworn in as Trump's attorney general. She wasted no time and issued a flurry of memos, including one that would roll back enforcement of the
Brother.
Foreign Agents Registration Act, or FARA, a lawfully passed congressional act. Again, the president cannot choose just not to enforce certain laws, which violates the Take Care Clause. On February 6th, Trump
do
directed
it.
agencies to pull
No,
funding from
it works.
NGOs that he didn't like. Trump also threatened financial and travel penalties against anyone involved
Like it's I remember many months ago, many months ago, Legal Eagle had to do a video about how like people were getting mad that they kept talking about Trump, and he had to explain like, bro, there's a law channel. They're going to cover the news that includes what the administration is doing, and it's not his fault that the administration keeps doing fucking legal things, and like. He probably bled a fucking bunch of like just normie MAGA people who just watched for like fucking Legal Eagle reacts to Law and Order episode or whatever. And like, bro, this is I'm like we're watching this now and like this isn't like we already knew all this shit. We already know it's all bad, but like none of this. Like a MAGA person's gonna watch this video and they're not gonna give a fuck, or they're not gonna watch it, and they're gonna believe it's all fucking fake, and you know, like Jesus, kill me, bro, just kill me. Island, what is their justification for calling them terrorists, narco terrorists? Their justification for they're just calling them that. That's all. They're just designating them that, and we can look at their fucking the supposed Venezuela terrorist organization designations, and we can just look at it, but it's going to be some bullshit. It's just going to be based on like what activities they do and that they're doing in the United States, and that's it. Terrorist organizations of Cartel de los Soles. Let's see. Department of State intends to designate Cartel de los Soles as a foreign terrorist organization. November 24th. Based in Venezuela, Cartel de los Soles is headed by Nicolas Maduro, other high-ranking individuals illegitimate Maduro regime, who have corrupted Venezuela's military, intelligence, legislature, and judiciary. And Maduro and his cronies represent Venezuela's legitimate government. Cartel de los Soles by and with other designated FTOs, including Tenaragua, Sinaloa Cartel, responsible for terrorist violence throughout our hemisphere, as well as for trafficking drugs into the United States and Europe. And so will continue using all available tools to protect your national security interests and deny funding and resources to narco terrorists. I mean, that's it. They just say they're doing terrorist action, and that's it. Terrorist violence. That's literally it. That's all they say. That simple. They're doing terrorist violence, therefore they're terrorists, therefore we can do it. Therefore we can kill them. But, you know. It's 2025, MAGA America, justification, facts, reality. Discard that 10. I was like, yeah, that's literally, they don't have to justify it. They can just say shit. And that makes it whatever. Like, that's what they do in court. They just fucking say shit and then justifying it? What? Like, it's retarded.
in the International Criminal Court investigations into
retarded.
U.S. citizens. On
That's all
February 10th, Trump
retardation.
pardoned disgraced
But it's evil. And it's retarded. It's both.
former Illinois Governor Rod Blagojevich. Blagojevich had been lawfully convicted of corruption. This was the first of many corrupt politicians that Trump would pardon. Trump also eliminated the federal executive
Also, short stream. I have to go at like 11 to do something, so. Short stream. I'll watch this and maybe
institute without
go
congressional
next.
authorization. And Trump unilaterally paused enforcement of the Foreign Corrupt Practices Act, an
I
anti-bribery
voted for
law.
this,
that
right? You voted for Trump? Is that true? You have 5 seconds to. You have 5 seconds to say that you were joking about voting for Trump or catch a ban. Okay, Trump voter equals auto ban in my chat. That's how it works.
prohibits companies and
Sorry,
individuals
I
from
don't make
paying
the
foreign
rules.
officials to gain business advantages. And it's super weird how the Trump administration just chose not to enforce myriad different corruption laws. And
Fucking kidding
seemingly
me? Grandma stream? Okay. My bad, bro. Okay. I just gotta go do shit. I'm not going to sleep. I just gotta go do something at 11.
only corrupt.
Problem, Lynn? Yes. Big problem, Radiant. Repent your sins, as CS Avenue said. Make them hop in VC. Well, Radiant can hop in VC, but he's also trolling.
Laws. And also on February 10th, Trump imposed a 25% tariff on steel. Like his
What if
other
it's Trump?
tariffs,
My
he does
bad.
not have this
Polish
authority.
pussy.
On February
Sector.
11th, Trump
What do
started
you go for
broad,
Trump?
unjustified firings across the government. He gave
Say
Doge
sector
authority to
now.
fire and said that new hires could only be brought on with Doge approval. This violated the Empowerment Control Act, spending clauses, and plenty of union agreements and civil service protections. On that same day, in retaliation for the media company's refusal to use the ridiculous Gulf of America title, Trump
What do you gotta go do, huh? Commit terroristic acts in the name of Nicaragua? I mean, not saying I'm not doing that, but I'm not saying I am, okay? I realized Radiant said it. Yeah, that was Radiant.
banned the Associated Press from the White House press pool. This violated their First Amendment rights. Trump also imposed a unilateral 25% tariff on aluminum. On February 13th, Trump's OMB directed agencies to draw up plans to start firing federal employees en masse, laying off entire departments, and strong-arming remaining employees to leave. This violated civil service protections, but it also didn't matter because at the same time, he also pushed out the heads of the independent agencies, the Merit Systems Protection Board, and Office of Special Counsel, who would have been able to adjudicate those employees' claims. The Supreme Court has now likely countenanced all of this activity, but at the time, it violated existing law. On February 13th, Trump pushed out Danielle Sassoon, acting U.S. Attorney for the Southern District of New York, and Assistant U.S.
Yep.
Attorney Hagen Scotton, as well as several others.
Yeah, we just forgot, but yeah, they just corruptly fucking dropped an investigation into Eric Adams, or prosecution into Eric Adams.
Because they refused to drop bribery charges against
Aluminum tariff is why I lost my fucking base test job. Damn. Rip. Fucking.
New York City Mayor Eric Adams. Trump
It's all fucking Trump's fault.
replaced them with
He's
someone
just
more
fucking
egregiously
over
corrupt, and
everybody's
in April,
life.
the charges against Adams were dropped. It was clear that in exchange for this mercy, Adams agreed to cooperate with Trump's
all he
ICE
says.
enforcers. On February 15th, Trump ordered his Department of Education to begin investigating how to pull funds from schools with COVID vaccine mandates. This would potentially be a violation of the 10th Amendment, the Empowerment Control Act, and separation of powers.
Please.
On February 18th, Trump seized control of all agencies, including independent agencies, forcing them to conform with his and Pam Bondi's interpretation of law. On February 18th, Trump's DOJ stopped defending EPA rules that the agency knew would save lives. This was likely arbitrary and capricious. On February 19th, Trump froze
Likely.
funding for sanctuary jurisdictions and any grants that give aid to undocumented
Like, it sucks that we even have to say, like, it was likely arbitrary and capricious. Like, these are arbitrary. They're capricious. It's fucked.
immigrants, a violation
MEDT, that obviously got AM audited. That's pretty good. Radiant equals Hamas. Zip equals Nicaragua. Food shops equals Trans Tifa. Holy shit, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. You're onto something here, MVTC. We're only in February. Yeah, this is only in February, guys, by the way, for all the illegal acts.
of the spending clause and
Only in February. Oh shit, Polish Pussy, your reply to CS got AI modded, but Polish Pussy CS said, but have you considered trans prison fascist communists about the aluminum tariff thing? So there you go. Do you even consider that, CS? Arbitrary, but enough of them together? Yeah, becomes a pattern. Doesn't it?
empowerment. On February 19th, Trump shuttered entire agencies, including the Institute of Peace, with a stroke of the pen. This violated the spending clause, separation of powers, and the Empowerment Control Act, and likely exceeded the president's authority. On February 25th, Trump went on a revenge tour against law firms that he felt had wronged him, pulling their security clearances and trying to pull their government contracts.
Remember that,
This was
guys,
retaliation
when
for
that
First
happened?
Amendment protected speech, as well as a due process violation. On February 26th, Trump directed all federal agencies to review grants, contracts, and loans, and begin freezing anything Doge deemed as inefficient.
I remember.
On March 1st, Trump opened up federal lands for timber harvesting in contravention of environmental laws in the
Like, this shit literally feels like a million years ago. Like, that's how long ago this shit was. Like, and it was just March. Like, this was like 8 months ago. Like, Jesus Christ. CS says, I work with Transtifa sock thems now. They're lovely. Based.
APA. On March 5th, Trump's DOJ appointees began more aggressively investigating the University of California system for supposed anti-Semitism, and the administration began threatening grants and funding, often in retaliation for First Amendment protected speech. On March 6th, Trump continued his revenge tour against enemy law firms, yanking clearances and government contracts. Again, this was in retaliation for First Amendment protected speech.
Against
It was a due
Cody.
process violation. On March 7th, Trump made it more difficult for employees in public interest fields to get student loan forgiveness the government had promised them, a violation of their due process and First Amendment rights. On March 7th, Trump DOJ leadership terminated pardon attorney Liz Oyer because she recommended against restoring gun rights to actor Mel Gibson. This was retaliatory in violation of civil service protections. On March 8th, Trump's DHS abducted and detained green card holder Mahmoud Khalil in retaliation for his First Amendment protected speech regarding the Israel-Palestine conflict.
Yeah.
This was part of a larger pattern of detentions and illegal retaliation against student protesters, including Ramesa Ozturk and numerous others. On March 11th, Trump largely stripped authority from the Public Integrity Unit of DOJ, making it impossible to prosecute corruption crimes, which is pretty convenient for him and his friends because it cleared the way for a lot more legal acts. It was also probably a violation of the Impoundments Act.
I have so much hate in my heart for every single person in the Trump administration. Just fucking Jesus. Actual hatred. Actually just ruining people's lives. And for what? And for
Also
what?
on March 11th, in a Signal chat with Atlantic editor Jeffrey Goldberg, Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth shared confidential and even classified information about impending military actions. Hegseth apparently accidentally added Goldberg to the
that
Signal
was
chat
a
with pretty much
weird
every
one,
other
wasn't
U.S.
it?
national security leader. Holding these conversations over Signal, even without
Jeez.
journalists present, was a violation of
What a
federal
year.
records laws, the Espionage Act, and probably several other national security-related laws. It was also really dumb, and no one has been
What a fucking year. Christ.
punished for this act. On March 11th, Trump pardoned former Republican Tennessee State Senator Brian Kelsey, who'd been found guilty of violating campaign finance laws. This set aside
Oh shit, algorithm with the actually important question. Okay. What does legal mindset think about all this? Good fucking question. I mean, I think pretty sure legal mindset is literally fucking a retard Republican, so he probably likes all of this and doesn't think any of it is legal and thinks it's all base and cool. He's a retard. What's new? Polish. In any other country, that signal shit would be talked about for years, not decades. Yeah, you know, but people, they just forget, you know? We just forget that, you know, fucking head of the Department of Defense and many, many high up military, high up people in the United States government were just on a fucking signal talking about classified information about a fucking upcoming strike that hadn't happened yet, that was about to happen, and they just accidentally put a fucking journalist in there. Could have been anybody. Literally could have been anybody that got in there. Or that guy could have been evil and fucking sold that shit to the highest bidder. Could have fucking warned Iran in advance about the fucking strikes. Or it was in Yemen, I think, at that time. But like, Jesus. It's just, it defies logic. It defies any sense of normalcy. Defies common sense. Defies, what are we doing here? Why do people still support this shit? You can't tell me Hexeth isn't fucking crossfaded with speed and alcohol constantly. Oh, he absolutely is. Everybody is in the fucking admin. Trump is fucking on Adderall all the time. Everyone's known as whiskey leaks. True. I mean, the biggest scandal in any other admin. Like, and it's so, like, this is just one of many. Like, this is just one of many things that all on this fucking level. Like, you're right. What was the line? We're currently clean on OPSEC? Yeah, it's retarded. And they're saying that Signal is a secure fucking thing, and that none of it was classified actually, and that, yeah, it's retarded. It's retarded.
A lawful criminal conviction. On March 14th, Trump managed to push out another assistant U.S. attorney. This time it was Sean Murphy, who had prosecuted the January 6th insurrectionists. Murphy issued a resignation letter reminding his colleagues that, quote, "You serve no man." Murphy reported that after Trump pardoned the insurrectionists, they had threatened and harassed Murphy. Also on March 14th, Trump continued his revenge against law firms, this time against firm Paul Weiss. Again, this was still super legal because it was retaliation against First Amendment protected activity. The same day, Trump unilaterally shuttered even more federal agencies, again, a violation of the Spending Clause, Separation of Powers, and the Impoundment Control Act. Trump began his campaign to coerce universities into doing his bidding. First, he hit Columbia University with a list of demands and a threat that funding would be pulled. Later, he moved on to Cornell, Harvard, Johns Hopkins, and a long list of others. This violated their First Amendment rights, exceeded the president's authority, and violated the Spending Clause, often because Trump tied compliance with funding. On February 15th, Trump invoked the
every time. Yes, it was impoundment. Yes, violated the First Amendment. Yes, violated this.
Enemies Act to go after a Venezuelan gang, Tren de Aragua. This exceeded his authority in the language of the statute. Trump also used his designation to deny people basic due process rights and violated the Immigration and Nationality.
That's also like when I said about the fucking Tren de Aragua is like you can't. It still can't do it.
Like, on March 15th, Trump's ICE agents detained Kilmar Abrego Garcia and shipped him off to a torture prison in El Salvador, along with plane loads of other people who had never been given any due process rights. This violated.
They weren't given due process rights. Many of them had legal status. Many of them had no criminal record. The justification was that they all had tattoos, and that's why there were Tren de Aragua members, even though Tren de Aragua does not have tattoos that are like fucking signifying. And they were tattoos for like, hey, mom and dad, and these are the tattoos, or you know, a fucking ribbon for the guy's autistic brother. Like
the Immigration and Nationality Act, due process, and international laws against torture. When federal judge Jeb Boasberg demanded that the Trump administration bring Abrego Garcia back and give him some due process, Trump's agencies openly flouted the law and the ruling. Boasberg then found probable cause and held the Trump administration in contempt for violating his orders. These contempt proceedings are still going on. On March 18th, Trump continued his war on independent offices, firing 2 FTC commissioners.
Violating any amendment would be goners if it was any other president. Yeah. I mean, hopefully it's goners for him in a couple years.
Violating the FTC Act and separation of powers. The Supreme Court now disagrees. On March 19th, Trump continued his war against the vaguely defined DEI, this time banning any words or ideas he liked from Foreign Service. This is likely a First Amendment violation. On March 20th, Trump unilaterally shuttered the Department of Education. This was a major violation of the Spending Clause, Separation of Powers, the Impoundment Control Act, and exceeded the president's authority. On March 20th, Trump proposed suitability regulations for federal employees that would allow the government to fire or not hire employees for vague reasons. In practice, this has turned into a loyalty test to the president, which violates the First Amendment due process and civil service protections. On March 20th, Trump commanded agencies to combine vast databases full of sensitive personal information and demolish legal protections that safeguard privacy. On March 21st, Trump began shutting down civil rights and civil liberties oversight offices at DHS. On March 22nd, Trump continued his.
When Dems win in 2028, you better believe the Supreme Court goes to work to enforce law. Well, yeah, they will, but that's because the Supreme Court's gonna be 40 Supreme Court members in 2028. Fucking hope so. It's gonna be fucking 40 of them. Oh, see, what they meant was, the second there's gonna be like how they did for Biden, like the Supreme Court was stopping everything Biden was doing. Like, you want to forget student loans? Nope, you can't do that. Oh, you want to fucking whatever the fuck in Texas? Nope, you can't do that. On all this shit. That's what they're gonna do. But don't worry. Next time, who wins, better fucking pack that fucking court and reform it. Pack the court to reform the court. You know, that's the plan. They better fucking do that shit.
Revenge against his political
I'm gonna
enemies
piss.
by pulling
I
security
will be.
clearances from
I'll
Joe
be
Biden,
pissed.
Kamala Harris, Hillary Clinton, Liz Cheney, and a long list of others. As usual, this was retaliation
Unless they don't have the Senate votes in order to do it. But they should.
for
They
the First
will.
Amendment rights.
Okay.
On March
They will have
22nd,
the Senate votes to confirm a whole bunch of Supreme Court justices, okay? I believe.
more revenge, Trump told his attorney general to pursue sanctions against lawyers.
Quick meme. What is the quick meme, Radiant? What do you got? Better be good. What is this? Wow. It's a good quick meme. Thank you, Radiant. It's so good. Wow. Wow, that's great. Thank you, Radiant. It's very relevant meme. Thank you. See, it says packet. I want to see it stacked like the tiny wiener Magamobiles. True.
Lawyers or firms that were mean to him,
Me during Star Wars and DG. It's a bit strange.
notch up another violation of the First Amendment and due process. On March 24th, more tariffs. Trump instituted a 25% tariff on any country that traded for Venezuelan oil. This is the same violation as the last ones. On March 25th, Trump attempted to seize broad control over elections, changing voter registration requirements and forms, despite the fact that he actually has no authority over state elections. He once again threatened to pull federal funds from any state that dared defy him. On March 25th, Trump's administration changed a rule regarding unaccompanied minors with no notice and comment rulemaking process, making it more difficult for unaccompanied minors to get sponsored and leave detention facilities. On March 25th and 27th, more revenge, this time against law firms Jenner and Block and Wilmer Hale, different law firms, same legal violations by Trump. On March 26th, Trump pardoned Hunter Biden associate and fraudster Devin Archer, overturning a lawful criminal conviction for yet another corrupt figure, one who cast aspersions against the Bidens. On March 27th, Trump tried to rewrite history, strong-arming the Smithsonian, national parks, and other public institutions to ignore the uglier parts of American history and instead focus exclusively on American greatness. This probably violates the First
Yep, they just fucking, oh, can't talk about slavery anymore at the Smithsonian because that would make America look
national
bad.
parks and
Like,
other
what
public
the
institutions
fuck?
to ignore the uglier parts of American history and instead
the
focus exclusively on
fuck,
American
man?
greatness. This probably violates the First Amendment rights of the park rangers and employees of the museums who are no longer allowed to tell the truth about the gruesomeness of slavery, the injustice of Japanese internment camps, or any other of the worst parts of American history. On March 27th, Trump shredded union agreements and barred employees from collective bargaining. On March 30th, in public interviews, Trump begins refusing to rule out running for a third term despite the fact that it would be blatantly unconstitutional. He'll continue to flirt with this over the coming months. On April 2nd, Trump set more tariffs, lots and lots of legal tariffs for pretty much every single country in the world. As usual, the president doesn't have the power to set
years
tariffs,
and keep
and it
learning
violated
that.
the separation of powers, the laws regarding tariffs, and uncountable international treaties. On April 3rd, Alina Habba, Trump's acting U.S. attorney for New Jersey, asked to dismiss a case against two American executives charged with authorizing $2 million in bribes to obtain a construction permit in India.
Alina
This ignores the Foreign
fucking
Corrupt Practices
Habba.
Act, which is in keeping with Trump's disdain for that law.
Stupid
And it turns out
fuck.
that Habba was illegally appointed to that position. On April
Retarded-ass
4th,
fucking
Trump once
bitch.
again unilaterally set aside the law that Congress passed barring TikTok, still a violation. On April 6th, Trump's DOJ fired career attorney Erez
Yeah,
Revenge.
it's still just, TikTok is should. It's just so fucked. Like and the Supreme Court had already heard that case and was like, yeah, this is how it should be. And he just ignore that shit. Nah, because TikTok fucking paid me. and I
after he
don't
refused to
really
lie for the
give a
administration in
fuck.
court over its treatment of Kilbar and Brago Garcia. On April 8th, Trump tried to unilaterally negate state environmental laws, threatening to sue states and preempt their laws and withhold federal energy funding from those that don't back down. On April 8th, Trump unilaterally deregulated coal and explored coal mining on federal lands in violation of existing laws in the APA. On April 9th, Trump went after law firm Sussman Godfrey, another enemy law firm, and Chris Krebs, who dared to contradict Trump's made-up election fraud claims, as well as former Trump
fucking
administration employee
Krebs,
Miles Tyler.
bro.
This was just as legal as all the other times he tried to do this. On April 10th, the BBC reported that the Trump administration had
just
revoked
take away this fucking security clearance. Yeah, that's normal. It's just a normal thing to do. Cool.
hundreds of foreign student visas over First Amendment protected activity, which is unlawful retaliation under the Constitution. On April 11th, Trump sent the military to the southern border, possibly in violation of posse comitatus. On April 16th, Trump threatened to weaponize the
Oh,
IRS
yeah,
to
I
revoke
forgot that
Harvard's
happened.
tax-exempt status, a violation of
He
federal
just
tax
sent
law
the military down there for no reason.
on due process and exceeded the president's authority. On April 17th, Trump reopened parts of a marine national monument to commercial fishing, in potential violation of several environmental laws in the APA. On April 23rd, Trump demanded that the Secretary of Education and Attorney General go after higher education accreditors who promote DEI goals. This is again a violation
He
of
who saves his country violates no law. That's literally their fucking slogan. They don't care.
the First Amendment and due process. On April 24th, Trump pushed the federal government to more aggressively explore, permit, and develop deep sea and seabed mineral resources both off the U.S. coast and potentially in areas beyond national jurisdiction. On April 24th, Trump singled out Act Blue, a Democratic fundraising platform, by name in an executive order calling for the Attorney General to go after straw donors. Trump has gone after Act Blue several times, which is likely retaliation for First Amendment speech, viewpoint discrimination, and violations of the due process and equal protection clauses. On April 24th, Trump unilaterally repealed several civil service rules related to probationary periods. On April 25th, the Trump administration arrested Milwaukee judge Hannah Dugan because she let a criminal defendant out the back door instead of out the front door, which led him to a hallway that took him right back to the main hallway where ICE picked him up. On April 25th,
Yep, just a regular thing, arresting judges. That's cool. Just whatever. We moved on. Who cares?
Under the direction of Trump's Doge, AmeriCorps tried to cancel $400 billion in grants with no process. On April 28th, Trump yanked funds for sanctuary cities, a violation of the Spending Clause and Impoundment Control Act. On May 1st, Trump unilaterally pulled federal funding from NPR and PBS. On May 9th, Trump tried to rescind water pressure regulations without going through any of the required notice and rulemaking. On May 19th, the Trump administration announced plans to begin weaponizing false claims.
The water pressure. Like, bro, this guy's just so retarded. Have you heard him talking about the fucking water pressure? He always brings up the fucking water pressure in the fucking showers. It's like, oh, it used to be so good, and now it's bad. It barely comes out. Like, bro.
Act to claim that DEI spending was somehow a criminal waste of tax dollars. On May 21st, Trump's Justice Department abandoned its consent decree with Minneapolis that was meant to address racially discriminatory policing. The DOJ refused to stand by the factual findings about police abuses in Minneapolis and 5 other cities, retracting them from the record and potentially allowing discrimination and police violence to continue without accountability. On May 21st, another federal judge found that the Trump administration had violated a court order by deporting immigrants to third-party countries without giving them due process. U.S. District Judge Brian Murphy declared that, quote, the department's actions in this case are unquestionably violative of this court's order. On May 21st, Trump accepted a $400 million jet as a gift from Qatar, which he's earmarked to use after he leaves office, which sure sounds like a law-breaking bribe. On May 23rd, Trump rewarded the people who made the biggest investments in his meme coin with a lavish dinner at Mar-a-Lago. It was originally supposed to be at the White House, and promised a personal visit from the president. Just more corruption and ethics law violations. On May 28th, Trump pardoned a few more corrupt former politicians. This time it was Michael Grimm from New York, who had been convicted of felony tax fraud, and John Rowland from Connecticut, who had also been convicted of corruption. On June 4th, Trump unilaterally created a
Which it was apparently because he was stashing classified dogs in toilets, maybe. Would not surprise me at all.
travel ban for 9 countries. Also on June 4th, Trump just shut down foreign student visas. Often the denials were tied to pro-Palestinian speech, which is First Amendment protected activity. On June 7th, Trump illegally mobilized the National Guard to help ICE in its immigration enforcement actions. He started in California in June, moved to D.C. in August, then Memphis, Chicago, Portland, and North Carolina. This violated the Posse Comitatus Act, exceeded the president's authority under Section 12406, and violated the 10th Amendment. Trump made the deployment in California doubly illegal by also
hope nothing bad happens to the National Guard.
deploying the active Marines. On June 13th, Trump's law enforcement agents dragged California Senator Alex Padilla out of a press conference. Also on June 14th, Trump threw himself a very expensive birthday party, $25 to $40 million expensive, and that was $25 to $40 million that Congress never allocated for that purpose. On June 17th, Trump's law enforcement agents continued their assault on Democratic legislators and politicians, arresting Brad Lander, the New York City comptroller, at a protest in violation of his First Amendment rights. The administration would go on to arrest pastors, judges, and pretty much anyone else who objected to ICE's increasingly aggressive tactics. On June 19th, Trump continued to delay faithfully carrying out Congress's TikTok ban. Same action, same violations. On July 9th, Trump's DOJ subpoenaed more than 20 doctors and hospitals that provide gender-related care to minors. The subpoenas likely violated privacy laws by demanding patient information. On July 11th, Trump's Attorney General Pam Bondi fired another 20 prosecutors and support staff who worked with Jack Smith to investigate Trump.
The trans people, guys, the trans people. Whoa.
This was clearly retaliatory and violated civil service laws. On July 17th, Trump unilaterally amended civil service regulations with no notice and comment rulemaking, making it easier to fire federal employees for not genuflecting to him. On July 17th, Senator Rob Wyden publicly accused Trump of refusing to enforce the law and investigate Epstein's financial ties. Trump denied this but killed the financial investigation and mysteriously continued to withhold the Epstein files. Under fire for handling of the Epstein case, Pam Bondi has now reversed course on investigating the banks. On July 17th, Trump fired James Comey's daughter, Maureen Comey. This was an obviously retaliatory.
Why the fuck is the fucking screen flickering? Do you guys see that? Why is the fucking screen flickering? Why is it doing that? The shit.
July 17th, Senator Rob Wyden. On July 17th, Trump fired James Comey's daughter, Maureen Comey. This was an obviously retaliatory and politically motivated act. She later sued, claiming this was both unlawful and unconstitutional. On July 23rd, Trump's director of national intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard, accused former President Obama of treason. This had no legal backing whatsoever and would be a retaliatory potential prosecution.
And they just it didn't go anywhere. It's still fucking flickering or whatever. It still didn't go anywhere, but I still haven't seen Obama being fucking charged with anything. Remember that. Just always remember, they saying that Obama was treasonous and all these other
On July
people.
24th, Trump ordered the clearing of homeless camps and conditioned federal funding on cities doing his bidding to institutionalize and clear people. This violated states' rights in the 10th Amendment. Civil commitment procedures and local public safety laws are...
Alright, rating with another quick meme. What's the quick meme rating? This better be good.
It was fake news, I think.
Last straw, okay? This last one was not a
fake
good meme.
news, I think. So.
Certainly sounds like there's
It's Chud Logic reacting to fucking
some
recording.
knocking
What is
they're
this
hearing,
shit?
which would
What's this? What the fuck was that?
Wow, this is so funny, Radiant.
Oh my
That's so funny. I'm so glad to have watched that clip. Thanks, bro. He says, "Bro, Radiant, your memes suck." Yeah, Radiant has. I don't think I've ever seen Radiant send an actual good fucking meme. Jesus Christ! Like, what? Why was that a Chud Logic clip? What did he add to that? Literally, why? Why wasn't it just the original video? Like, what the fuck? Retarded.
primarily governed by the state, not federal law. The federal government cannot compel states to expand their laws or amend their specific criteria for involuntary treatment. On July 30th, despite or maybe because of his prior unethical and corrupt actions, Emil
Oh shit, wait a minute. MBDT, I know where he finds them. Yes, Jarvis.
Bovee, Trump's pick for an appeals court judicial position,
Jarvis finds those memes for him.
is confirmed. Bovee had defended Trump in 3 criminal trials and had reportedly told his employees to disregard court orders. On July 30th, Trump continued to monkey with tariffs, eliminating de minimis duty-free provisions without congressional approval. On July 31st, Trump continued to mess around with tariff rates that he was not allowed to institute in the first place, still legal for all the reasons that we previously said.
Oh,
On April
the terrorists are reciprocal, because they're tariffing us, so we tariff them. Blah, blah, blah.
6th, the bribes continue. This time,
Keep tearing
it was a plaque from Apple with a 24-karat gold case. This joined a long list of other golden bribes, including a World Boxing Championship belt from Zelensky, a golden pager from Netanyahu, and a golden helmet from Japanese Prime Minister Shiba, a portrait from Putin, and a gold crown from South Korean President Lee, and of course the Qatari jet. For ethics-related reasons, no ordinary government employee could accept any of these gifts, but the jury's out on ethics rules and emoluments to the president. On August 11th, Trump tried to take over the DC
gifts from anybody. Like
Police Department. The court quickly struck that down because it was a violation of the Home Rule Act and exceeded his presidential power. On August 14th, Trump's Border Patrol chief, Greg Bovino, showed up with a group of well-armed Border
coming
Patrol
around on Reagan's regardation, bro. Everybody's been known. Okay, everybody's been known that.
agents outside of Governor Newsom's rally in what LA Mayor Karen Bass called a provocative act, and lawyers might call retaliation or intimidation that chills First Amendment protected speech. On August 27th, in
Why is
what
the fucking
likely
screen
a politically
flickering? Why is it
motivated
doing that?
investigation, Trump's
Why
FBI
is it
searched
YouTube
John Bolton's
flickering?
house. On August 25th, Trump tried to make it illegal to burn the American flag.
First time hearing the Zip Zip strawman voice. Bro, I have many strawman voices, okay?
The Supreme Court has already ruled on this, and prosecuting it would be a First Amendment violation. On August 25th, Trump tried to fire Lisa Cook from the Federal Reserve Board. The administration falsely accused her of mortgage fraud to try and come up with a for-cause firing. On August 28th, Trump continued his vendetta against federal unions, barring more employees from collective bargaining. On September 2nd, Trump ordered the killing
Trump has never accused anybody else of mortgage fraud for no fucking reason, with no evidence.
of 11 people in a boat off the coast of Venezuela. He claimed they were drug dealers, but there was never a trial or any kind of due process, nor any kind of congressional authorization, which is a massive constitutional violation and also murder. On September 8th, the Supreme Court signs off on racial profiling by ICE in the shadow docket, which sets the stage for ICE to continue using what are colloquially called Kavanaugh stops, where ICE detains U.S. citizens without probable cause. Generally,
Remember, right now, if you look brown, if you're speaking Spanish, you can be stopped by ICE, and they can ask you for proof of citizenship. Make sure if that applies to you, keep your shit on you, okay? They can legally do that now. That was just allowed by the Supreme Court. That you can be racially profiled. If it was that Golden Freddy jump scare, yeah, it keeps fucking flickering. Like, I'm gonna kill myself, bro. Holy fuck! Why does
These are
the
stopped
fucking
based on a
screen
person's
keep flickering? Why is YouTube doing this? It's just fucking Chrome fucking bugging out. What is this?
race
shit?
or use of the Spanish language. The Supreme Court has not yet weighed in on the merits of this decision, and it is likely a due process violation and a violation of the Fourth Amendment. On September 15th, Trump launched a campaign to pressure networks to cancel comedians and commentators and commanded FCC Chairman Brendan Carr to jawbone them, beginning with Jimmy Kimmel and later moving on to Al Sharpton, clearly retaliation for First Amendment speech. On September 15th, Trump decided to send the National Guard into Memphis. Though the governor approved, this would still likely be a violation of posse comitatus. A state court judge found that the deployment violated the Tennessee Constitution. On September 19th, Trump added an illegal and unjustified $100,000 fee onto all
Like, this is the thing. Like, whenever you're talking about the National Guard deployments, like, even if the government allows it, it could still be posse comitatus violations because the use of military.
visa applications. On September 20th, in a clear First Amendment violation, Secretary of Defense Hegseth required members of the press to sign a new pledge. The pledge banned journalists from reporting on anything that Hegseth hadn't signed off on. Anyone who didn't sign it would be out of the DoD press pool. Only 15 reporters signed, and even Fox News and Newsmax opted out. Hegseth announced an entirely new, more compliant and right-wing press pool in October. On September 20th, after Trump said publicly, "I want him out," Eric Siebert, the U.S. Attorney for the Eastern District of Virginia, resigned. He refused to go along with the Trump administration's politically motivated witch hunts against James Comey and Letitia James, among others. This was obviously corrupt and retaliatory. On September 22nd, Trump designated Antifa as a domestic terrorist organization, which is impossible because there's no such thing under
fuck
American
that
law.
means?
On September 22nd, numerous media reports claimed that the Trump border czar Tom Homan had accepted $50,000 in cash in a kava bag in exchange for plum government contracts.
Yeah, just in case you forgot, Tom Homan accepted a bribe of $50,000 for government contracts for when he became part of the administration.
Homan denied he did anything illegal, but did not deny taking the bag of cash. And the Trump administration spiked the investigation into Homan's bribery. Trump issued a new executive order pertaining to domestic terrorism, specifically referencing the murder of Charlie Kirk. The order directs Bondi to establish a task force that would prosecute NGOs and American citizens under the Foreign Corrupt Practices Act. The order created confusion about whether the FCPA, which was illegally paused, is now unpaused, and the order illegally targets Trump's political enemies for prosecution. On September 25th, Trump's lawyers issued a retaliatory indictment against his political enemy, Jim Comey. Prosecutors had previously declined to engage in this prosecution, so Trump just fired them and found someone less competent, Lindsey Halligan. Trump is also trying to go after New York Attorney General Letitia James, Adam Schiff, and John Brennan. On September 30th, during the government shutdown, Trump's OMB instructed employees to put politically inflammatory partisan messages out as their out-of-office messages during the shutdown. When employees didn't do that, some agencies changed the employees' out-of-office
I'm gonna lose it
messages
with the fucking flickering. What is this shit? What is this? What the fuck? Why is this happening? Why is this happening? What the fuck is it?
without permission. This was compelled speech in violation of the
They
First
did not
Amendment
full
and
screen
violation
it?
of the
Is that
Hatch
what's
Act.
doing it?
It also violated the Anti-Deficiency Act, as were the bananas partisan banners put up on federal websites during the shutdown. On September 27th, Trump declared that he was sending troops to Portland, again a violation of posse comitatus, and exceeded Trump's authority under Section 12406. On October 6th, Trump sent the National Guard into Chicago against the wishes of the Illinois governor. Different jurisdiction, same violation. On October 11th, Lindsey Halligan, Trump's loyalist who was handpicked to prosecute James Comey, sent an unexpected signal chat to legal journalist and Legal Eagle contributor Anna Bauer. In between chastising Anna for her reporting, Lindsey teased information about the grand jury proceedings against Comey, which is a bizarre departure from the
You cannot talk about grand juries and fucking... Like, you just can't reveal that shit. You can't reveal that shit. It's
usual
not-
rules of prosecutorial decorum, as well as the federal rules of criminal procedure. Additionally,
Yep.
the use of Signal with auto-deleted chats was a violation of federal records law.
Yes, because if you are in like the government, if you're working as a prosecutor, you have to keep records of all your communications related to your job. That's just how it works. 10.45 round up to 10.5 round up to 11. Oh shit! Wait, what's happening? All this in 11 months, 10 months. Being woke is 11 glorious months. Well, it's almost 11 months. Okay, January 20th. Oh well, yeah, sure, yeah. So 10 months. 10 months, more or less. Okay, close enough. Okay, it's close enough.
Laws. On October 15th, Trump's team planned an IRS overhaul
And
to pursue
above them,
left-leaning
it's
groups,
different,
clearly a
so-
violation of First Amendment rights. On October 16th,
Either
Trump used
way,
research and
All
development
this
money
in
to
less
pay
than
the
a year,
military
okay? All this in less than a single year.
criminal procedure. Additionally, the use of Signal with auto-deleted chats was a violation of federal records laws. On October 15th, Trump's team planned an IRS overhaul to pursue left-leaning groups, clearly a violation of First Amendment rights. On October 16th,
Yep.
Trump used research and development money to pay the military, despite the fact that the government was shut down. This violated the Constitution.
Yep, you can't. During the shutdown, Trump was paying using fucking extra money that they had from the fucking military budget, which is not for paying like payroll, right? But okay.
And the Anti-Deficiency Act. On October 17th, Trump commuted the sentence of the world's most prolific liar, former Republican U.S. Representative from New York, George Santos. On October 21st, reports are that Trump tried to force the DOJ to pay him $230 million for his prosecution of his illegal acts. This seems like an obvious conflict of interest and ethical violation, and if his minions in the DOJ approve this, it would also be well outside the usual bounds of the Federal Tort Claims Act. On October 23rd, Trump expanded his murderous strikes to non-adjudicated drug traffickers and civilians on a vessel in the Pacific, killing 5 people. Murder
Did
is
it
still
just flicker
illegal.
again? Why is this happening? Why is it flickering? Crazy. It's crazy that I remember most of these things, but they were in the news cycle for like sometimes less than a day. Yeah, it's they're flooding the zone with all this shit. Like if it was just one of these things, maybe it'd be like still talked about, but it's so much. And it's every single fucking day. You just can't. You can't process any of it. You
On October
can't.
23rd, Trump illegally ripped down the
Impossible.
historic East Wing of the White House. Trump also illegally accepted gifts to help fund this act of vandalism. The funds to do any work on the East Wing have not been approved by Congress, another violation of the Anti-Deficiency Act.
It's
On
still
October
fucking
23rd,
flickering.
Trump's
I'm gonna
DOJ
lose it.
indicted
I'm losing
Democratic
my
congressional
mind.
candidate Kate Abu for her involvement in protests at a federal immigration facility outside of Chicago. On October 24th,
Nah, I
Trump
don't
accepted
care.
an anonymous $130
Cabo's
million
a
donation to
cringe,
circumvent
fucking lefty cringe loser. Don't care.
Congress's government
But it's bad that she got fucking.
shutdown. This is another violation of the Anti-Deficiency Act. On October 24th, Trump killed 6 more people in another boat strike in the Caribbean. This was his 10th strike. He's up to about 64 people now, but murder is still legal. On October 25th, Trump appeared to be starting a war with Venezuela without any congressional authorization. On October 25th, Trump declared that he's going to send his
just
people to
be.
monitor elections in California and New Jersey.
they know he's
which
gonna
sure looks like
fucking go to
unlawful
war.
voter intimidation. On October 28th, more retaliatory actions at the DOJ. This time, Trump's DOJ put 2 prosecutors on administrative leave because they had dared to mention in a memo that a guy who threatened former President Obama had reposted one of Trump's Truth Social posts, which had Obama's address. On October 31st, the Trump administration published a rule limiting public interest student loan forgiveness for anyone it decided was working for political enemies. On November 3rd, Trump sat down for an interview with 60 Minutes, which was then heavily edited, likely at his request, and probably because he filed a First Amendment violating lawsuit against the network last year for releasing an edited
I thought editing interviews was really bad.
interview with Kamala Harris because they had edited it. On November 4th, Trump said he planned to ignore a judge's order that his administration pay out SNAP benefits during the government shutdown, which would be
Yep.
contempt of court. On November
I'm
4th,
gonna
Trump was
lose
sued
this
for months of
fucking
inhumane conditions at the ICE facility in Illinois. These conditions
So Destiny's tit for tat is extremely gracious. Actual tit for tat would be a civil war against MAGA. I mean, yeah, that's the thing about tit for tat. Like when you even in the strategy, right? Like you don't go as bad as them. Like and none of the tit for tat being suggested is as bad as what they are doing. So it's but people will still have their issues with it.
have been repeatedly noted by judges and advocates across the country and violate due process and the 8th Amendment prohibition against cruel and unusual punishment. On November 10th, Trump continued pardoning his buddies. This time it was Rudy Giuliani and others accused of the plot to overturn the 2020
Oh,
election. On November
brother.
16th, another murder strike by the Trump administration, this time in the Eastern Pacific. The estimated murder count now stands at 83. On November 17th, Trump threatens to launch strikes against Mexico. Again, Congress has not approved any wars. On November 18th, Congresswoman Summer Lee launches an investigation into the Trump administration's choice to drop investigations against companies including Boeing and politically connected CEOs. An investigation by Public Citizen found that 30 corporations that faced federal investigations by the DOJ collectively gave 29
Albafolder fuming, maybe. Okay, I like Albafolder. Okay, Albafolder's a guy. He's a bud, but we have our disagreements.
$1.5 million to President Trump's inauguration fund. On November 18th, news
now I
breaks
see
that
the
the Trump
flicker.
administration
Yeah,
had
I'm losing
intervened to
it,
protect accused sex trafficker and professional misogynist Andrew Tate. Federal authorities were chastised for seizing Tate and his brother's electronic devices and told to return the devices to the
Basically
suspects.
fucking-
On November 18th, Trump threatens ABC's broadcast
Like they all but pardoned fucking Andrew Tate. Okay, they basically just fucking helped them get away from all their fucking shit back in Romania.
license after an ABC
Disgusting.
reporter dares to ask Trump about his ties to Jeffrey Epstein. On November 19th, news breaks that apparently Lindsey Halligan and the Trump DOJ never actually presented the Comey indictment to the grand jury. They apparently can't even do politically motivated
Can't
prosecutions,
do.
right? On November 20th, Democratic lawmakers who were members of the military and intelligence community made a commercial telling service members they have a duty to defy illegal orders. In response, Trump made a series of threatening posts on Truth Social calling for Democratic
just kill
lawmakers to be
him,
punished
you know?
with death for
That's
seditious
what-
conduct.
you know,
These are the
just
kinds of
suck.
statements that would get anyone else
Wait
arrested.
a
or
minute,
released
you're
to
telling me these guys said, "Don't break the law." Well, just kill them then. Duh. Just say that they should get killed. Easy. Hey, bro, kill me. Polish says, reading about scandals in other countries makes me feel like a retard. Like, what do you mean in Argentina the former president was selling favors to acolytes? That's it? Yeah. Yep, people have gotten fucked for way less. And yet, here we are. Oh shit, what's up, Armorfoot? How's stream today? It's been chill. It's about to end in like 2 minutes, but it's been chill. Just watching Legal Legals. Video about every legal act Trump's done so far.
Investigated for terroristic threats or assault, but given presidential immunity, I guess it just doesn't matter. Trump said these members of Congress should be killed. He posted seditious behavior punishable by death. The Pentagon then launched a retaliatory investigation into Senator Mark Kelly. So there you have it. Those are all the crimes or arguable crimes, illegal conduct,
shit.
and corrupt acts that we could put together. I'm sure we missed some. If we did, please let us know. We'll update the list and probably do this at least every year. And the next 3 years are going to be a rough ride for the rule of law. Of course, some of these acts have been ratified by the Supreme
boy.
Court, and I'm sure that others will be in the future. Some are stuck in litigation. Of course, if you are fighting any of these acts by the Trump administration, you're going to need a good lawyer. Luckily, I know a guy. Now, all this highlights why it's so important
my
to get a great
God.
lawyer when you're
What does
dealing
he
with
know?
your own case. Now, after I started this channel, every week I get hundreds of comments
good
and emails
lawyer
from
does he
viewers
know?
who are dealing with legal problems. And they'd ask, can you help me find a lawyer? How do I know if this attorney is
Can
any
you?
good? And there's a massive gap in our justice system. Is that people don't know how to find the
True.
right lawyer for their specific situation. They're scared, they're overwhelmed, and they end up doing nothing or hiring the first attorney who calls them back. And
So
that
what should I do
really bothered me.
instead?
So I started to wonder, what if there was a different way? What if we could build a law firm that actually lived up to the values that I talk
My
about on this
God,
channel?
what if?
Transparency, accessibility, and putting clients first instead of chasing billable hours. A firm where you
Is that
don't need to pay
possible?
anything up front, and your lawyers only get paid if you do to maximize your opportunity for justice. So a few years ago, I decided to fix that problem. I decided
my
to start my
God,
own personal
really?
injury law firm. And honestly,
Oh my
it wasn't
God,
an
the
easy choice.
Eagle
But I realized I
team.
was in this unique position. I had this platform, this community, and the experience. Not to get rich, trust me, there are easier ways to make money than starting a law practice. But we did it because access to justice shouldn't be a luxury. Because finding the right legal representation shouldn't feel like playing Russian roulette with your future. And when you work with my firm, you're not
Don't
just getting a
play
lawyer.
Russian roulette,
You're getting a
guys.
team that understands that behind every case is a real person
Ask CSAV. CSAV, now we know, is Russian. I can tell you. Russian roulette, not a great game.
with real stakes. If we can't represent you or you're in a state where we don't practice, we'll take the time to try to match you with an attorney in my personal network of lawyers. A national network of some of the best lawyers in the country who actually specialize in what you're going through, located right where you are, not just whoever happens to be available. So if you're dealing with a personal injury, a car crash, a data breach, sexual harassment, a social security or workers' comp issue, give us a call at the number on screen or click on the link below. Now, I can't represent everyone that watches this channel. I wish I could, but what I can do is make sure that when you need legal help, you have somewhere to turn to that you can trust.
Whoa.
So whether it's me handling your case or the incredible attorneys we partnered with, you'll get the same principles of honesty and education that we bring to every video. And if you're dealing with a legal issue and you're not sure where to start, check out the link in the description. Let's have a conversation about how we can help you find not just a lawyer, but the right lawyer
Wow,
for your
thanks,
situation.
Legal
Because at the end
Eagle.
of the day, that's what this is all about. Making sure that when life gets complicated, you don't have to face it alone. Which is why when you need a lawyer, you don't just need a legal team, you need the Eagle team.
Oh, the Eagle team. Wow. Elmer Fudd. Just in. The breaking. Quick 20-second video to end the stream. Okay, the last thing we're watching. Friend. Let's see what we got. Quick, like 20-second vid of dead National Guard's boyfriend in interview. Fletch said, only being able to lose Russian roulette once really makes growth hard. True. There's no longevity in that game. It's crazy. National Guard member Sarah Beckstrom, who passed away, believed her DC deployment was pointless according to her. Oh, shit.
And she just was also like, why am I here if I can't do nothing? Where they limited them so much, she's like, it's pointless. She's like, I get why we're here, crime's bad, but it's pointless if we can't do anything.
True.
And
True. Fucking. Because retard Trump. Yeah, the reason, like, the Pussy Comitatus thing is a thing is because military can't do domestic law enforcement. So when Trump's sending the National Guard to these places, one of two things is happening. Either they're sitting around doing fucking nothing, or they're violating the Policy Comitatus Act and doing domestic law enforcement. So when she's talking about, oh, it's pointless, whatever, like, she can't do anything. They're literally there to do nothing. They're just standing around doing fucking nothing. It's retarded. Push says, flex your muscles, retard. That's what you can do. Stunt on these motherfuckers. I guess so. Oh shit, Deadly Zebra in the YouTube chat. 0% chance anyone makes me feel bad for the National Guard members who want to do law enforcement on citizens. Well, they don't all want to do it. Okay. National Guard members, we hate them if they do bad stuff. But if they're just chilling, then they're chill. So National Guard offered Paper Tiger Mirage. Sure. TLDR, she died for no reason. Yes, she literally died for no fucking reason. It's disgusting and it's gross. And her death, her blood is on Trump's hands. Exclusively. Almost. Like, obviously you're a fucking murderer, but that blood's still on Trump's hands. Like, Jesus. But okay. Deadly Zebra. Oh, sad that you just got here because I'm ending stream. But yeah. It's gonna be it for me, guys. I have to go do some stuff right now. Thanks for hanging out. Really short stream today, but I had it in a couple days, so I felt bad. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for watching stream. Thanks for supporting. Follow and Kick, YouTube, Twitch. If you want to give me money, sub. But besides that, thanks for hanging out. See you guys in stream probably tomorrow. Okay. I'll see. Oh wait, who's live? Can I host anybody? Oh shit, Food Chops is live. Go watch Food Chops. All right, bye y'all.